Hello there. This is Heirs to the Kingdom channel. And today's lesson we're doing Isaiah chapter 13. If you're new to this is a Bible study channel where I do read through the King James Bible. And so I'm sharing my study. So as I study the Bible, I'm sharing what I'm reading, what I understand, and what I'm learning all at the same time. And today's lesson is going to be pretty quick. It's 22 verses, pretty straightforward reading. As you can tell from the title, in the first verse of it says, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son Amos did see." So this is the prophecy that's going to be against Babylon. Like I said, it's going to be a fast lesson. I know there's probably a lot of people out there like me. I'm tending a fire. I got a fireplace in my house and stuff, so I'm tending a fire as well. We got these Arctic temperatures coming in. And here in Tennessee, it's already been here for a few days. We've had single-digit nights and, barely getting out of 20 degrees during the day. I know places up north are like, oh, that's nothing. Like, yeah, but your houses are insulated for such. Ours are not. So our utility bill goes up quite a bit. As a home builder, found out, years ago that, like, the further south you go, the less insulation you have for heat. You have a different insulation for keeping the AC in, the cool air, the cool temperatures in, and keeping the heat out. And so when you're in the middle and you have a cold front like this come in, it plays havoc on your AC unit, especially like a heat pump like I have. You have to go make sure you turn on emergency heat. But yeah, it's kind of weird. You think by now that with the technology we have, it would be, you would set up a timer, or it already have a preset timer. If it's ran for a certain amount of time, it automatically turns on emergency heat. And then when not needed, it deactivates it. Instead, because in the middle of the night, it may need it in my house, and I won't be awake to turn it on. So I wake up to the heat pump running all night long. But yeah, I know other people out there deal with the same type of stuff. But like I said, it's a straightforward reading tonight. So let's go ahead and get started in it. I done read the first verse. And let's continue on here. Verse 2. "Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles." Now, if that has a little bit of confusion to it, talking about exalt the voice means raise your voice to them, shake your hands at demanding to be able to be let into the gates of the nobles. Verse 3. "I have commanded my sanctified ones," of course that means chosen ones, "I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness." Now you got to remember, today we're under grace, so Jesus is not going to call for stuff like this. But God will use people that are already anger, calloused heart, and stuff, use them against you, or let them have reign over you to get you to come back to the Lord. He will allow that. But to harden people's hearts or this, that, and the other, I don't feel that, Jesus does that anymore. I think this was something specifically for Old Testament, to bring up, warriors and all this other stuff against another nation. But also have to remember Babylon is an idolistic nation. They're not godly. They're actually against the chosen, God's chosen people, the Israelites. They're against everybody, really. They just want to rule the world, and they rule it with an iron fist type deal. And so first God used them to bring punishment upon all the people doing wickedness, and now, since they continue to keep doing it, punishment's now going to come upon them. So more people mightier than Babylon is going to be brought up to go against Babylon. So as the old history lesson teaches, the rule of power constantly exchanges hands. So whatever nation's ruling, this decade or whatever, it's not going to be as such later on. There's another one that's going to rise up to be more powerful and more domineering. But let's continue on verse 4. We're still talking about this curse, I can say curse, but this prophecy coming against Babylon. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, the Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Now, of course, it's not meaning heaven above earth. It means as you look far away and all you see is the skyline, that's the heaven area they're talking about there. Let's continue on verse 6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all the hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. Pangs is another word for pain. P-A-I-N-S. Pains. Sorrows, anguish, those two words kind of match up, but let's continue on. They shall be in pain as a woman, and that travaileth. Now, I never really understood why you have pangs up at the upper area than the word pain down below. But knowing what I know of the Hebrew language, they have multiple words to mean love. So most of English has one word that means a lot of things, and they actually have a lot of words to mean something of the same, just different levels of. And of course here, when a woman that travaileth is talking about, a woman giving birth. They shall be amazed one at another, their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel but with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of an Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. And remember, roe is a type of deer, a type of animal. Of course, we know the sheep is. Verse 15. Every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Now, if you're going to be reading this, you're also going to be understanding these are the same things that God called the Israelites to do to the Canaanites of the land before the land became Israel, because they were brought under judgment and the Israelites to be used as punishment. They were going to be the tool, the finger of God, and God's going to point them where he needed them to go, and they're supposed to do his bidding. But the one thing that Israelites did was they had compassion. And they didn't carry out all of the wrath that God wanted them to carry out, so they did not kill all of the inhabitants of the land. Which later on God says, you will regret that because it will be a thorn in your side for, thousands of years. And it was. And it still is. That's why they're having a problem in their land today, is because they're not just one people. They're multiple people in one land. But let's continue on. Verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows shall also dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So, God's not using people that have a conscience or compassion. He's bringing people into the land that just want to watch the world burn and destroy all. We have those people around today. Sad to say, but they've always existed. And for somehow or another, they always end up finding themselves and making their numbers grow, and then they start tearing up societies because society has compassion upon them and don't get rid of them when they have the chance. But verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs, I think that's how you say it, satyrs shall dance there. But yeah, it's another word from reading. It's kind of like wild goats. Verse 22. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So they're talking about the wild beast crying. It's also another study says that's their meaning like hyenas. Hyenas have their own distinctive noises they make. But yeah, so that's the end of the lesson. We're just coming up on 15 minutes. But I would go ahead and do 14, but there's 34 verses in 14, and it starts because different, it's attached to this, but it kind of starts a different section. So I'll just hold off on to that for tomorrow. But, yeah, like I said, that's the end of this lesson. So, I'm going to go ahead and keep it short. For one, I still have to cook supper. I haven't done, normally I have this done and eaten and everything else before now, but my day's been a little busy. And it's been quite cold here. It took longer to get things done. So, let's remember to pray. We have a new administration, And it appears that the old types in the administrations that are against this country and the Constitution, well, they're still going to be trying their things of making things complicated and, be against everything and, sorry to say, lie, cheat, and steal. It's what they're known for, sad to say. If you're one of the people that believe in that political party, well, you might want to start looking at what they do and quit listening to the words that they say. To be honest, I'm against any politician anymore because I don't think either party's really got the Constitution and the people in its best interest, but one side is better for the nation than the other. But make no mistake, both of them love to have power. And those are the people that should not be in politics. It's supposed to be servants, not, people that want dominion. So we need to pray for these things. We need to pray for people to be able to see through the cloud of garbage that's put in their eyes and start learning the truth. We got to pray for the lost. Now, I would be so joyful if all the politicians up there all got saved and all started serving the Lord, because, then good things would be happening from either side. It doesn't matter which side then. But we don't have that. So we have to pray that maybe we can change things. But mostly we want people to get saved because Jesus is preparing. Well, God's preparing to send His Son. Jesus doesn't know the time, the date or the time when He's going to be sent back. Only His Father knows. And so we want to have as many people saved as possible before then. So, like I said, we got to pray. So until next time, God bless, good night, and goodbye.